to my channel. My name is Hannah, and today I am going to fix a broken vintage beaded necklace. And we are going to link the beads together, not really restring them with string, but we're going to use wire. And I have this beautiful check glass necklace here, and I took this bead off, but it was missing a bead, and a lot of these bead caps were rusted, and a couple of them were actually broken. And so I wanted to completely redo this necklace and use some brass wire and brass or gold tone bead caps. And with most vintage necklaces, I like to keep in the same style. So these are from around the Art Deco era, so maybe 20s, 30s, and these are check satin glass with these foil eyes, and these are very collectible, and when they're strung correctly or linked together correctly, they are worth so much more. These actually go for several $100s, and so I want to do this necklace justice, and I'm just going to show you the supplies you need. Now I'm going to do it in the same style, so I'm going to use brass wire, and the best and easiest thing to use are these eye pins. So they have a loop on the end, and then they're just straight. And this is 21 gauge. I find that this is a good thickness, so it's sturdy enough to hold these beads, because these are glass beads and they're pretty big, so you want something to hold them in place well. And these are about 2 inches long. I got these off Etsy. You can search there. Any kind of jewelry making supply website should have these as well. You can even try eBay. Fire Mountain Gems, they probably have something like this. Now I try to use vintage old stock, so I either try to harvest from other broken jewelry, or if I have to, I'll buy newer stock. So like these brass eye pins are newer, but these bead caps are actually old new stock, and I really wanted to use these for all the beads. They are gold tone, and they have like a stepped look to them, and I thought, okay, these are very Art Deco looking. So you always want to plan ahead before you start just linking things together. So I counted the beads. I made sure I got a pair for each bead. So I had 21 beads in all, so I have an odd number, which is fine. 14 that I want to use for these stepped bead caps, and so I counted them out there. I've got 14 pairs for these, and then I have this drop, this really cool teardrop shaped focal bead, and then I have some bigger beads, which I had these. These are rounded, very simple gold tone bead cap. The tools that you need, I'm going to show two methods of linking them, but what you definitely need right off the bat, you need some round needle nose pliers. I mean, you can get these anywhere. I've had these forever. Then you want some flat pliers. I forgot the technical term for it. And you'll need some way to cut the wire, so I just got these little wire snippers. So first thing is, if your necklace is still linked together, you'll have to take it apart. You can't just snip it off with the snippers, so this would really be easier. I just like to make things harder for myself. Watch out, things may go flying. And see, that came off super easy because I snipped it right there on the edge. And your beads may be dirty, and you can just take a very simple baby wipe, even paper towel, and just kind of clean up where the debris is on these, like around the edges. Mine are very dirty, so I'm going to clean these up. So that's what you do. You just keep taking the links apart if you don't want to destroy it, and you know, they're able to be reused, or you can just use your snippers and cut them. So I'm going to finish taking these beads apart. Okay, now I have all my beads taken apart. Just get you some little containers so you can put your beads in there. Now, I forgot to mention the two different methods of wiring these beads together, and all you need is your round needle nose pliers to make the ends, the loops. If you've already got this tool, you don't have money to spend on anything else, this will still work. But you can also use these, I believe it was BeadSmith loopers, and they make them in 3 different sizes. They make a 1.5 millimeter loop, a 2 2.25 loop, and I also got one that does 3 millimeter loops. Now I'm probably going to use this 2.25. That's pretty good. The smaller one, of course, is fine if you have small beads like seed beads. Of course, if you have beads with a bigger bead hole, you're gonna want a bigger loop size. So these or the 3 millimeter would probably do pretty well. These are not too bad of a size. So let's get started. I'm gonna do the focal bead first. Now I'm gonna try to keep it in the same fashion. I want this hanging at the bottom like a wide drop necklace. That was a very popular look in the Art Deco period, so I want to keep to that. And I actually do have some head pins, is what they're called, with the flat end, and I need to make sure the bead hole is not too big that this will just slide through. That's another thing you want to make sure of. And it is not. It works just fine. So the reason I like using these loopers is it's especially handy to make all your loops more uniform. I think that's the biggest thing people use these loopers for. Well, I've also found when you're trying to make a loop for these older glass beads, a lot of them are very delicate, they chip, and when you're bending the wire with your pliers, the very end will chip, and I do not want to do that. You cannot get these beads new anymore. They do not make them, and it is so important that you're just very careful. And you know, mistakes will happen. Don't beat yourself up over it, but it's just important to, you know the right steps that you can take to avoid those issues in the future. So now I'm gonna work on these bigger beads, and I wanted to use these bead caps. And I got 5 pairs because I had 5 of these larger beads that I wanted to use, these just rounded bead caps. So you get your eye pin, put your bead cap through, and you get your other bead cap. Now these are 2 inches. This is obviously way more than I need, so I'm gonna get my bead looper, the 2 1/4, and what you do is you stick it right here on the lip, then you stick it on top of the other lip, and then there's a hole at the very end of this. You stick the wire through. Now sometimes your wire won't go all the way out this end. That's fine. As long as it lays on this lip, you'll be able to bend it. So you want to make sure you're pushing the end of your wire all the way so there's no slack. You want this as close to the bead cap as possible. What you're going to do, simply squeeze and it cuts the wire and loops it just like that. And look how perfect that is. It almost matches the one on the bottom. So I already got another one that I did, and I absolutely love how these look. So I'm just gonna keep going. We're gonna get our bead cap, bead cap, and then use the looper. Or if you have to, use snippers, cut off the end. Make sure you have enough that you can make a loop with your needle nose pliers. And that's that. So I'm going to finish making all these beads. We'll call them connectors, these bead connectors, because then at the end I'm going to open one link it through like this, and finish off the necklace. All right, y'all, I am back. I had to take a break. I had a mishap. I was pretty upset with myself, but I'm good now. I just show you what happened. Earlier I had just put a wire or an eye pin through here, actually a head pin, it's flat at the bottom, and I didn't like how that looked. I decided to snip it here, put a bead cap on and then put a small bead cap up. Actually, I didn't put a bead cap there, and I used the loopers. And I put way too much tension on the end of this bead, and I chipped it. I chipped this antique, beautiful check bead, and I'm very mad at myself. So, you know, I know some of you be upset. You know, mistakes happen. It does. I mean, it's bound to happen. And you gotta move on, and you gotta try do the best you can. So I then snipped off the wire again, added this very small bead cap that I found. It was from an old necklace I just had, and then looped it, being very careful. But with this bead cap, it helped protect it. So there's that. Okay, I've gotten all these beads connected. Actually, when I got down to my little beads, these stepped bead caps were just too big for these, and I didn't like it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just add these ribbed gold tone beads. I'm gonna let you guys get a close-up look at these. So I got 3 different styles. I've got these rounded ones, the stepped, these ribbed gold tone little round beads. So what I'm gonna do, if you don't have one of these, you don't need it. But this one's called a Bead Bunny. But what it is you lay out, you can lay out your beads so they won't roll around, and really look at how you want things to, you know, look before you actually go to making it. This is super helpful, so you can just see it, and then if you don't like something, just move something around. So I'm gonna lay everything out, and then we can get to linking it. Alright, so I got everything laid out, all my beads in the order that I want them, and this is gonna drop down, connect with this. Oh, and I added some like antique gold little star beads I had. That's gonna drop down, and then this focal will drop from that, and I think it's gonna look beautiful. I saved the old clasp. I might change out for brass, but I actually like using mixed metals. I like the look of it. I saved some jump rings to attach at the end, and I'm probably gonna add 1 large jump ring to the end so that the clasp can easily get in there. So now what we'll do is just take one of these, take another one that you want right next to it, and the end that you loop will probably be a little more open or loose, and you can probably just loop the other one on like so. I'm gonna actually open this up a little. And then do the closed one, and then just kind of close that back. So we got that linked together. So now this one's slightly open. We'll open that up more. Let's zoom in a little so you can see. Here's this. This one's slightly open on this end, so I'm gonna turn this around. And we'll close it like so. So you just keep going. Keep linking everything. That one was open enough. They may have a tool that closes loops like that. I'm not sure, but this is what I've always done to like close jump rings or anything like that. You can also do this as well. Take your needle nose and like sometimes that'll work. So I'm going to keep going, and the next shot you will see the finished necklace. Alright, so here's the final reveal. I put it on my dress form so you could see better how this looks. I've got my focal bead. Then I ended up adding these star little tiny beads instead of bead caps. You can see I just linked each one, and then here I added 2 jump rings from the original necklace so that they weren't so close together to this center bead. I wanted there to be, you know, good space, and so here they are. I just linked them, and then here's the different bead caps. Then I ended up using the ribbed bead caps, and I ended up going with a brassy tone clasp I got off an old broken necklace. Added a big jump ring right there, and that's all. It's super simple. Like, honestly, you just need a few tools, some eye pins, or you can even use the head pins and just snip off the end of it, loop both ends. It's a little extra work, but it's really not much. And yeah, and then you can turn an old broken vintage beaded necklace into something usable, something you can wear, cherish, and yeah, keep putting love and work into it so that it will last. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope maybe it inspired you to take some old beads, an old necklace, and just breathe life into it again. I really enjoy doing this, and you know, put your own little spin to it. You know, add some decorative elements. I also wanted to show that instead of using eye pins, here's a broken necklace I have. It's linked together, but it has these bar links added to it. So this is another popular style that necklaces were strung, and if you want to keep to an older fashion, just, you know, look up pictures, type in, you know, an Art Deco check glass necklace and see how they were made, and just kind of study it and then look for, search the elements. So search vintage bar link on Etsy, vintage silver ball beads. You know, you can find so much old new stock that you can still use to create new things. So thank you guys for joining me. Please like this video and also hit the bell notification icon. That will let you know whenever I upload a new video so you don't miss out. And thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you guys next time.